So today, we're really going to dig into the intellectual architecture of Shubham Kumar Singh's book, You Become What You Think. We're not just going to skim the surface or list off the highlights. Nope, we're going to map out the entire system of thought that this book builds. All right, let's get into it.
You know that feeling, right? Like you're stuck in a mental prison you built yourself, brick by brick, with regrets about yesterday and all sorts of anxieties about tomorrow? The book makes a really strong case that these two things, regret and anxiety, are basically the master thieves of your attention. They just run these endless loops in your head, pulling you out of the only place you can ever really live, which is right here, right now.
So, the big question is, how do you get out of that prison? Well, the book basically boils down wisdom from literally hundreds of sources into one single powerful idea. Think of it like a master key that unlocks everything else.
And this is it. This is the core premise. The book pulls this together from ancient wisdom like Stoicism and Buddhist philosophy, and it's this: you are the architect of your own reality. It's not about what happens to you, it's about what you do with it, what happens in you. Everything on the outside, that's just raw data. It's your internal response that actually gives it all meaning and power.
Okay, but you can't just be an architect with a blueprint, right? You need tools. And the book doesn't just leave you with a cool theory, it gives you a practical toolkit for actually building a stronger, more resilient inner world. Let's take a look at the 3 core skills it lays out.
Now, it's really important to see that these 3 skills are presented in a very specific logical order. It all has to start with controlling your focus, because, well, you can't detach from something or respond to it if you're not even aware of it. Once you get a handle on that, you can learn strategic detachment, which creates the mental space you need to finally choose your response instead of just reacting on autopilot.
So tool number 1 is all about your attention. The book pretty much says that mastering your mind is mastering your attention. And this isn't some passive thing you just have, it's an active skill. It's about constantly, consciously choosing where to put your focus, moment to moment, instead of just letting your mind get dragged all over the place.
Tool 2 is what the book calls strategic detachment. And what's so interesting here is that this has nothing to do with apathy or not caring, not at all. It's a strategy. By kind of loosening the grip your identity has on external things, like your job title, your car, even your own opinions, you build this incredible emotional buffer. It just makes you harder to hurt.
All right, now for the third, and honestly, maybe the most profound tool. This is the one that completely reframes how we look at every negative experience we have. Seriously, this idea is a total game changer.
So, the book uses this brilliant Buddhist metaphor to explain this. Think of it like this. Life is always going to throw the first dart. That could be an injury, a rejection, a failure. That's pain. It's unavoidable. But the second dart, the one where we spin stories, feel sorry for ourselves, get angry, that's the one we throw at ourselves. And that is suffering. And the book argues that suffering is almost always optional.
And this is just the Stoic side of that exact same coin. The crucial point here is that suffering isn't caused by the bad thing that happened. It's caused by our resistance to the fact that it happened. It's that friction between what is and what I wish it was. That's the source of the pain.
Okay, so we've got the mental framework down, but how do we actually make it stick? This is where the book shifts gears from these big mental models to the nitty-gritty physical process of changing ourselves through our actions and our habits.
Pulling directly from James Clear, the book introduces this incredibly powerful idea: your identity isn't something you just go out and find. It's something you build, one action at a time. Every small choice you make all day long is literally a vote you're casting for the kind of person you want to be.
And this slide, this shows you the math behind that voting process. The book really hammers this point home. Progress is not a straight line. Those tiny, almost insignificant habits you do every day, they compound into something amazing. Getting just 1% better each day feels like nothing, but over a year, that compounding effect makes you almost 37 times better. It's a powerful argument against waiting around for some big moment of inspiration.
But here's where we all get trapped, right? The all-or-nothing mindset. The book is really clear. This is not about being perfect. It's just a numbers game. You just need to cast more votes for the person you want to be than against them. As it says, missing one workout, that's an accident. Missing 2, that's the start of a brand new bad habit.
Okay, so you've mastered your mind, you're building new habits, but why? What's the point of all this? The book argues that all this inner work actually has an ultimate outward-facing purpose. See, the goal isn't just self-improvement for the sake of it.
like some kind of narcissistic project. It's about interdependence. By building a stable, calm, resilient inner world, you actually become a better partner, a better friend, a better member of your community. That inner peace is the foundation for having better outer connections.
So now, let's just step back for a second and see how all of these different pieces actually fit together. Because this isn't just a random collection of life hacks, it's a really coherent intellectual framework.
You can really see how the book builds this complete system. It starts with that core premise: your internal state is what matters most. But an idea is useless without a tool, and that tool is controlling your attention. To make that control stick, you need a method: building your identity through small, consistent actions. That whole engine is powered by two crucial mindsets: strategic detachment and realizing suffering is optional. And the whole point of this entire system isn't selfish. Its ultimate goal is to help you build stronger, more meaningful connections with other people. See? Each piece just logically flows into the next.
All right, let's wrap this up with a few final takeaways on what the book gets right, where its limits might be, and why I think its message is just so incredibly urgent right now.
You know, the book's greatest strength is how it synthesizes everything. It pulls all these powerful, actionable ideas into one easy-to-understand place. Now, the limitation is really the flip side of that strength. By going for breadth, it sometimes has to pull ideas out of their deeper philosophical contexts, and, sometimes those original contexts can be a bit contradictory.
And why does this all matter so much today? I think it's pretty obvious. We're living in an age that is literally designed to hijack our attention and provoke our emotions. This book is a clear, unified toolkit for taking back your mental sovereignty in the face of all that digital distraction and algorithm-driven outrage.
But what really changes after you internalize this stuff? It's this. You start to notice that tiny little gap, the space between something happening and how you react to it. You become an observer of your own mind. You literally catch yourself, right as you're about to wind up and throw that second dart of suffering. And sometimes, you're able to just put it down.
So I'll leave you with the book's central challenge, but I'll frame it as a direct question for you to take away. Thinking about the person you really want to become, what is one small vote you're going to cast for that future self today?